Good morning, Margaret. Thank you.
So, have the attacks between Hezbollah and Israel disrupted any of the plans for this memorandum to be signed today? Are we on track for a signing on Sunday?
As far as I know, we are on track. It's not a question of if, but when. There are logistical issues involved in how these things happen. We are keeping an eye on Hezbollah firing rockets in northern Israel, something they need to stop doing, and Iran needs to strongly encourage them to do so. Israel has responded with restraint, knowing an agreement is near. Since we're close to a deal, I don't think this will interfere. I also expect more robust talks over there. Negotiations aren't exactly my area, to be honest. I think the talks will continue, and for Iran to maintain this, they need to contain Hezbollah, certainly.
This memorandum would extend the ceasefire, as I said, with the promise to keep talking. Given how clearly President Trump said he wants to end the conflict, will the U.S., will the troops come home? Will those 2 aircraft carriers be withdrawn?
Margaret, the president has been very clear. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Never. Period. And about this agreement, some points that have come to light are completely wrong, and it's based on performance. No money will be released to Iran. Until they comply, there is no trust, only verification. There is no trust here, and we will verify everything. The nuclear material will be destroyed and removed. The nuclear program will be dismantled. The straits will be open. No tolls will be charged. The JCPOA was a path to the bomb. This agreement will be a barrier to the bomb. That was the goal clearly from the beginning. In our military posture, we will maintain what is necessary. The blockade has been devastating. Success for us and impact on the Iranians. Think about this chain of events from a military perspective. There were 45 days of intense fighting that Iran could not contain. The Navy, Air Force, and defense were finished. This led to a blockade that became impenetrable for months. We had the Underground Freedom Project, which moved 125 million barrels of oil through the Strait, proving our control. We carried out 2 more days of bombing because they weren't making an effort. The military pressure and President Trump's strength forced Iran into the agreement, which will be performance-based when signed.
But there is no agreement yet. We haven't even reached the memorandum. We expect it to be signed today. And the Israeli military has undoubtedly devastated the conventional armed forces, as you're arguing. But the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard regime, controls the country. They pocket the gains from being able to sell oil if the blockade ends, as you just indicated. They did not surrender. They are negotiating. So how do you reassure the allies who are in the region and say they still feel at risk? Will you maintain the force posture during the 60 days of negotiations and beyond that?
We will ensure that the military option is available. And that's the difference between this, the JCPOA, and how Obama did it. They begged for an agreement. We bombed Iran and imposed a blockade, and then we acted when it was necessary so they would come to the table for a great deal. Therefore, our military posture will be whatever is necessary to ensure that they are compelled, through the memorandum, to fulfill what they promised in these 60 days. The document says that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. They will not pursue it. No one will buy, no one will have it. In 60 days, they will negotiate the final agreement, but they did not have the military threat that we have, which Iran respects a lot. This way, their regime is far more devastated than it has ever been in all of its 47 years, okay? And that's why they are at the table. The big difference is that we did this from a position of strength. Trump used military force. That power will remain as long as necessary. If the blockade is lifted, they will pull back and allow navigation, as Iran should permit, crossing the Strait. But we can lift this blockade at any time and they won't be able to do anything about it. Iran knows that. We have the advantage, and we hope the negotiations go well, truly.
Well, from what I understand, the first part of this agreement would involve the release and reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Hormuz. How quickly will the IAI blockade on Iran be lifted? How quickly will they be able to sell?
Immediately, said the president. We expect that from the Iranians.
Signing today, they release it tomorrow.
Problem here. So again, it's performance-based, Margaret. So we won't. Unlike Obama, President Trump is smart about these things. He won't just give in. So, the blockade continues as long as the strait is open. After that, it ends and the passage is free. If it takes 2 weeks to 30 days to fully mature, it will start immediately, as the president said. And by the way, I think your viewers need to remember that Project Liberty never stopped. We transported 125 million barrels of oil through the strait, and Iran couldn't stop it. How many Iranian ships broke the blockade? 0. We controlled the strait the entire time.
Are you negotiating with them?
Immediately and gradually. So,
Okay, you're saying immediately. But Secretary Rubio said that would also help. Clearing the mines in the Strait of Hormuz. You used 30 days as a deadline. You remove the mines and ensure security in the strait within 30 days.
we do all that in 30 days in a favorable environment, so it depends on what's being decided in Iran.
About the former warlord?
I'm already doing things I can't. We're already doing things I can't mention to ensure safe passage happens as soon as possible. We're fully involved, and we know the dynamics well. Iran probably doesn't, since they can't see the enemy capabilities around the strait, given that the last few nights have been devastating for them. Yeah. About the ability to understand what goes through the strait. If you have the skills and can do it, great. If the international partners who said they want to get involved really want to contribute, great. With this agreement signed, we hope that Iran will stop firing drones at commercial targets. They have always fired at ships.
On Friday, a drone hit an Apache helicopter. They also launched drones against Bahrain and fired missiles at a U.S. base in Jordan a few days ago. They still have power.
And that's why you have to deal with these people with strength, not just invite them to the table, because military force brought them to this agreement, which is great for the security of the United States. That's why this is a crucial and very important moment. Only President Trump's strength and clarity in saying no nuclear weapons guarantees this. According to the memorandum, the terms are based on Iran's performance to ensure they never obtain such a weapon. That's what's fundamental.
When the 60 days of negotiations begin, with possible extensions, the nuclear program will be addressed. President Trump posted on social media on Saturday, "At the appropriate time, when everything is calm, we will go in and take the nuclear dust. See? It's about the highly enriched uranium at the bombed sites. He said they will dilute and destroy it in Iran or in Zua." Is the UN supposed to do all this?
I don't think the UN has really been effective in anything in this case. Aya, we'll deal with this however necessary. In the end, that might be part of the explanation. What happens is that President Trump has already delayed Iran's nuclear program in devastating ways, from Operation Midnight Hammer to this campaign, in ways that we know exactly how much we've managed to set them back. We've been monitoring this material all this time, and any agreement, as I said before, will be based on performance and metrics. There will be American or international inspections and oversight, but the control will be defined through our negotiators, guaranteed by our military power. If Iran doesn't comply, they'll have to face the Department of War again. We would have preferred not to do it, and President Trump didn't want to either, but we know the devastating effects it had on their armed forces. Yes, and regarding their air defenses and their capabilities, they don't want that to happen again. By attacking again twice, it shows an unwillingness to restart, showing that this would set them back even further. That's why Iran agreed to negotiate, and we will finalize the initial memorandum of understanding to set the schedule. And this is the broader framework. We will work with you to remove or mix this material with other materials so that no residue remains, and the result will depend on supervision and performance. And Iran understands that. And that's why I think, in the end, this is something you can and will succeed at.
These details are crucial and still need to be negotiated. From what you said, the IAEA could be involved. CBS has already reported that military planners discussed American contingency plans, and the Department of Energy working together to protect those nuclear materials. Are you saying that at the negotiating table, the United States is going to say that the American military needs to go in and clean up the nuclear dust? I'm
not going to say on a Sunday morning show what we'll do in any context. All options are on the table, as we've told President Trump, the American people, the world, and the Iranians from the beginning. All the power of the Department of Defense is ready to ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. We can do it with Midnight Hammer, we can do it with Epic Fury if necessary. In the end, Iran will need to destroy and remove, dilute, and we will be involved, either physically or otherwise, to make sure that happens. It could be the Yaks Army, AQSCUA, or another option. Our world-class negotiators will have several options. The Army is good at this, as is the Department of Energy, who are working on it. Iran assures us, if removed, their program will be dismantled, which is vital to the process.
Is it an important point for the members of the United Arab Emirates Armed Forces to understand if you say that ground troops would be involved in cleaning up nuclear dust?
That's your statement. Are you putting words in my mouth? What I'm saying is that we have plans for everything, and if the president needs a coercive option, we have many different types of coercive options. At the moment, we've set the conditions for 60 days to ensure that this material is secure. It's diluted, destroyed, or removed. Any decision by the president will be in the best interest of the inner circles. The Department of War is there to support this effort.
Let me ask you about Venezuela, because there has also been important news in the last few days. President Trump stated that Zia Saunoya's military killed Nino Guerrero, leader of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, in an airstrike earlier this week. Well, he was indicted in the Southern District of New York for several crimes. I wonder, why choose an attack option? Why didn't they arrest him and make him face justice in Zamora like what happened with Nicolas Maduro?
I was going to say, we did that. We showed it. Yes. When we did that with Nicolas Maduro, we created the conditions so that, in partnership with the Venezuelan government, it became a big deal. They invited our army because there is a foreign terrorist organization in their territory, Tren de Aragua. We managed to identify and eliminate their leader, like Al-Qaeda or ISIS, just as we have already done in the Middle East. We treat these foreign terrorist organizations the way we treat the drug boats they operate. This is a big step forward. Think carefully about that. President Trump had the vision to stop Maduro and change the relationship. The energy dynamics have changed in the world. So, the flow of energy will soon make the straits less relevant. With Trump's vision, we are energy independent and net exporters. In Venezuela, through partnerships, we eliminated terrorists who attacked the American people. We fought the influx of drugs and gangs.
Trinidad Roblox.
Zeba?
Energy is really expensive right now.
It's vital.
I doubt the independents will supply.
Down there, and you saw it. They are indeed.
We'll talk about that later in the show, but I want to get back to the point about Venezuela. Even though ZUA from the Army just carried out this operation, should Americans understand that the ZUA will continue with military support in Venezuela? Should they expect operations in countries like Ecuador and Guatemala, where the ZUA are currently working with local governments?
Yes, they should. It's called the American Coalition to Combat Cartels, the ACCC, and we formed it with partners in Central and South America to fight and destroy terrorist organizations and drug cartels, including all those countries you mentioned. They are stepping up efforts in partnership with the United States, working with their governments and armed forces, combining their special capabilities with ours to hunt down terrorist networks, just as we were effective against ISIS and Al-Qaeda in the Middle East for 20 years. It's an incredible reinforcement of the Monroe Doctrine, now called the Dunroe Doctrine. We have regained control of our hemisphere, stopping the poisoning and attacks on the American people. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful military thing. Yes, it's remarkable that other countries want to collaborate, and we're going to make the most of it.
Before you go on, let me ask what's happening with the ammunition and Zerihal's stockpiles here. The president of Ukraine, Zelensky, was on this program a few weeks ago. He made an appeal not only for more interceptors, but also for the ability to produce them so that allied governments can manufacture patriots. Some Republican lawmakers support this idea. And you?
No one makes better or more ammunition than the USA. We seek co-production whenever possible. Under this administration, we have strengthened our arsenal of freedom, building more and faster, breaking through Pentagon bureaucracy to force the industry to act more quickly.
But there are stockpiles?
There is a crisis with these stockpiles in the future.
These stockpiles are currently in crisis.
The private industry. This is a made-up story that
The media wants to sell the idea.
In the end, we are. Our stockpiles are in great shape and will get even stronger thanks to the actions of this president.
It would take years to replenish the stocks.
Who delivered ammunition to you don't need to reread to me what I witnessed. I speculated that some ammunition takes longer than others. We have plenty of them. We're producing more than ever. The Biden administration sent billions to Ukraine. Trump had to restock, and we followed it in real time. Okay.
So is the answer to Zelensky's request finally no or yes?
Anyway, we work with them and Ukraine buys ammunition that Europe pays for. It's good to see Europe finally mobilizing to pay for it.
Okay. Well, he was asking for the ability to produce, but I'll stop here for today. Secretary Hegseth, thank you for joining us.